All right, we are in another warm day. I wouldn't expect anything else at this time of year, and we're heading into that the warmest month, which is February for us. And this week, it's Monday. We are in one of two heat waves in this week, which is unreal. Who has two heat waves in a week? So we're sort of in the first one at the moment. Birds are doing, yeah, it hasn't really worried them too much, to be honest. I did try something yesterday that one of you guys gave me a bit of a hint on, which is I got a little spray bottle with water in it, and I went around and just gave the little babies a little bit of a mist in the nest, and they really like that. So that's something I'm going to continue on doing, is when we get these hot days, because the babies in those nests, they can't get away from the heat. So I'm going to continue doing that. Let's have a bit of a look here. I've done something a little bit cheeky today. So you see the big boys here, and what I've done, primarily, I've shut everyone off. I'm going to put him back where he's meant to be. But what I've done is I just got the bath out for him because it was quite warm, and I thought, because he's from the east coast of Australia, he's not used to this hot weather that we have. Well, because he's older, I thought, oh, maybe he might have a heart attack or something, because he's not really used to those high 30 to 40 degree days, which is understandable. So I thought, you can see he's looking much better now. So today he's had a bath, and it was quite funny because he got into this. I put this in, he jumped straight in there, and he sat in there for probably an hour to an hour and a half. I could see him from my kitchen window. I kept checking. He's just sitting there like a duck. So I don't know if we brought over one of these East Coast ducks or something, but yeah, he just jumped in there and he sat in there for like an hour and a half and just had a really good bath. And I think he needed it, because have a look at him now. For an old boy, he's got a good stance on him, and he's starting to look really happy and relaxed. The plane trips kind of take it out of him, and it's a bit hard to see with the contrasting in the back, but you'll see there's two hens in here. So what I've done is I just put the two hens in here for a bit of a incentive, so to speak, and he has been chasing them left, right and center. So I'm hoping that we can sort of rev him up a little bit, put some nice little young hens in here, and he'll be chasing them and stuff. And he's been chasing both these hens and crowing, and he's been having a good time. He hasn't been mating or anything like that, but he has just been trying to chase these hens, because both these hens are paired up with other partners anyway, so they're not interested. But it's really good to sort of get him revved up, which is good. So I do need to put him back in his box, and I might open the doors up and let the other ones come out, have a bit of a play. But he's still a bit crazy, because I haven't really I don't sort of hang around in here, but he's looking good. I'm happy how he's starting to turn out, and his behavior today was really good. The fact that he's interested in hens, he's chasing hens, so to get him to pair up is going to be pretty good. So, but it's hard to say, but how successful we'll be, but we're going to do what we can do to get these old boys in the mood. But I don't think we're going to have a problem. He's still acting like a very young guy, so we should be pretty fine. I do have the best hen in up here as well. She's not interested at all, but I thought I'd get a little bit of familiarization in here, because she's now in here with these young babies at the moment. And then what I'll do is move her into her own section, and I'll probably just have her separate by herself for a few days, just make it easier to pair up. So let me get this guy back where he's meant to be, and we can have a look at a few other things in here. Alright, so everyone is doing well. All these little babies that we've weaned in recently, we've actually got them in there yesterday, doing pretty well. It's pretty hot today, so I didn't bother coming out here and doing too much cleaning. I've done like basic nest box scraping and stuff like that. It's just way too warm for me, but we're doing pretty well. So hopefully there's going to be quite a lot of birds actually. I was aiming for 65 in the race team, but now it's looking like 75. We've got another 10 birds potentially coming this week as a race team, so we'll bring them over, quarantine them for a little bit, and then we will put them into the race loft with these guys. So there'll be another 10 birds in here on top of the 20 birds that we do need to add into here. So it's going to be quite a few. So this whole section is going to be pretty filled. So we're going to have to utilize this next section as well, which is fine. We've got plenty of room in this loft, and we've never really utilised it to its full capacity anyway. Because at the moment I think there's 40 in this side, which I generally like to have 30 in here. Oops, I forgot to shut that door. Alright, so come on. So what we'll do, I think, because we're going to have quite a few birds, those ones actually come out there pretty easy, is the older ones in here that were mainly racing last year, and the ones I looked or showing in the video yesterday, all those ones that are paired up, I should be able to most likely bring them over into this section. So then we'll have plenty of perches. There's already plenty of perches in there anyway, but you know, I'd like to give them as much space as possible. So we still might have this far one still tied up with a little bit of the pairing from this special cock that we've got, but then we should clear this one out and move some of these birds over into this where the other stock birds are, because most of the breeding's done there. And I do have another holding loft too, that's my secret little one that I like to put birds in as well, out of the way. So yeah, we might be able to bring a whole bunch of birds into here anyway. And like I said, I do want to try and race birds, not in the widowhood or anything like that, but just give the pairs a box so I can open all this up, and the cocks can fight over their boxes and things like that. So we did try it last year but failed miserably because the birds we had were pretty young and they weren't really interested in it. So this year we should be a little bit better, and I'll leave it open for these guys because the breeders always gets a little bit more special attention on days like today. They can have that bath, that's fine. We'll just have a quick little squeeze in here because there's just so many birds at the moment, which is good. Last year we didn't have enough birds. Realistically, we lost a lot, which is fair enough, just because we moved into this house the previous year and just trying to get all these birds up and moving, which was, yeah, it was a bit of a challenge. But this year we've got 12 months under our belt, so we really should have a bit better feeling for what's going on. And she's a beautiful hen, but she's a bit slow on laying eggs for us. I think this hen's going to beat her to laying eggs again. I think she was in there before. Let me have a look under your wing, buddy. Are you ready to come out of there? Oh, I'd say in a couple of days you are. You're almost ready to come out of there too, so that'll be good. We can actually get those ones into that far section. A lot of these babies are probably not super far off it either, which is fair enough. And she's on those 2 eggs as well, which I'll take them out eventually. At the moment, a few pairs are going to stay in here. Like I said, we're just going to use them as floaters or backups, just so we can try and line those floating up pretty close, because that cock that we've got seen the first right at the start of the video there, we've only got him for a short period of time, so I want to get a couple birds out of him, just so we can make sure we can pick the best for Pattaya. Geez, our Rosetta's looking, she's so good for the amount. She's done quite a few rounds, and she's such a beautiful bird still. Nothing's knocked her about, which is what I like to see. And looks like Shock's gone and laid 2 eggs again as well, so that's an interesting one. He's just sitting there with his eggs. But like I said, I'm surprised how quickly these birds have gone down in eggs again. You can see the age of the babies, not very old at all, and they're just pumping them out, so it's really good to see. But like I said, our race team's done, and if we do get these 10 birds in the next few days, I'll tell you what, we're going to have a pretty strong team, because these ones are pretty special. It's going to be interesting, I'll tell you. It's going to be a very, very interesting season. We're not too far away from, I think we start racing end of May, so we've got February, which we're about to go into, which is the hottest month. All these birds are going to start molting. Most of the older ones that we bred earlier in the season, they're halfway through the molt, but we've really got to try and get all these ones through it as well before we start tossing. We may have to start tossing them a bit earlier, but we might just do like 5 kilometers, just easy tosses. Because I think last year our main problem was that, hey buddy, we didn't do enough tosses. I think I still done 20, but I'd like to do 20 tosses before 20 kilometers, so we'll just wait and see. And we have, like I said, we've taken those eggs out of there. Just that little baby's looking pretty good. Pretty happy with that. And I'm just floating them on the bottom ones because those eggs lined up perfectly anyway. And same set for those as well. We put them down under Little Storm, which is super easy. She's really good at laying looking after eggs. And then 83 is going to raise these two babies out, which they're not too far off being raised anyway. They're really nice looking little babies. So we'll see how we go. I need to get out of this heat. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow.